Good morning, my dear students. In previous session, we learned about specification of traveling waves. What are the different types of transients? What are the causes of transients? Now we discuss traveling wave on transmission line. How the wave is traveling in transmission lines. So traveling wave on transmission line equivalent pi section of a long transmission line. So in any transmission line consist of inductance and capacitance. Inductance connected in series, capacitance is a shunt elements. So the entire transmission line consists of a inductance and capacitance effects, not physical inductor capacitor. It is a inductance and capacitance. So normally when the switch S is closed, what happens? So when switch S is closed, inductor and capacitor. So the inductor cannot allow sudden change in current. The capacitor cannot allow sudden change in voltage. Q, when the switch S is closed, the voltage or the current wave does not appear at the receiving end side at the instant. It will take some time because of a inductance and a capacitance effect. In the inductance cannot allow the sudden change in current, but it allows after some time. The capacitor cannot allow sudden change in voltage, but it allows some time. After sometimes it will allows. So whenever the traveling wave is traveling from sending end to receiving end side, it will not appear suddenly at the instant of time in receiving end side. It will take some time because of a inductance and capacitance effects. When a transmission line is suddenly connected to a voltage source by the closing of a switch, the whole of the line is not energized at once. Already I told that. So not appears the entire whenever the switch is closed, voltage source by the closing a switch, the whole of the line is not energized at once. It will take some time. The voltage does not appear instantaneously at the other end. At the other end is nothing but receiving end side. This is due to the presence of distributed constants. That is a inductance and capacitance in a loss-free line. Loss-free line means the resistance is equal to 0 and also conductance G is equal to 0. Consider a long transmission line having a distributed parameter inductance and capacitance. The long transmission line is divided into small section as shown in the figure. Already we saw the figure. There is a consist of both inductance and capacitance in entire transmission line. Inductance are connected in series. The capacitance are connected in shunt element. The switch S is the switch used for closing or opening the surges for switching operation. When the switch is closed, the L1 inductance act an open circuit and C1 act as a short circuit. Inductance act as a open circuit, capacitance act as a short circuit. At the same instant, the voltage at the next section cannot be charged because the voltage across capacitor C1 is 0. So unless the capacitor C1 is charged to some value, the charging of the capacitor C2 through L2 is not possible, which will obviously take some time. Already we discussed this point. The same argument applies to the third section, fourth section, and so on. The voltage at the section build up gradually. This gradually build up of voltage over the transmission conductor can be regarded as through a voltage wave is traveling from one end to another end, and the gradual charging of the voltage is due to associate current wave. So either the voltage wave or the current wave, whenever the supply or whenever the surge is given, the entire transmission line not get energized at a time. It will take some time because of inductance and capacitance effects. The current wave which is accomplished by voltage wave steps up a magnetic field in the surrounding space. At junctions and terminations, these waves undergo reflection and refraction. So, what is meant by reflection and refraction at junctions and terminations? At junctions means when a transmission line is connected to a cable. So, normally the transmission line surge impedance is in between 400 to 600 ohms. The cable surge impedance is 40 ohms to 60 ohms. So, in junction point, suddenly the impedance will be changes 400 to 40 ohms or 500 to 50 ohms. So whenever the sudden change in impedance causes, definitely the wave is partly transmitted and partly reflected at the junction points. So whenever the impedance changes, definitely the wave is partly transmitted, partly reflected. If a line is connected to a cable, definitely at the junction point impedance changes. So the wave is partly transmitted to the cable, partly reflected back to the transmission line. The network has a large line and junction. The number of traveling waves initiated by a single incident wave and will increase at a considerable rate as the wave split and multiple reflection occurs. The total energy of the resultant wave cannot exceed the energy of the incident wave. So consider a lossless transmission line. Already we know lossless means resistance is equal to 0, conductance is equal to 0. With a wave after time t has traveled through a distance x, consider the wave traveled a distance dx in a time dt. So consider one transmission line. So the wave is transmitted through a distance x and the time is dt. The wave is traveling at distance dx and time is dt. An electrostatic flux associated with the electromagnetic flux and voltage wave with the current wave. Consider the charge between the conductors of a line up to a distance x. So what is the charge q? So what is the charge q is nothing but charge q is equal C into V, capacitance into voltage. Capacitance C is equal charge per unit voltage, charge is equal V into C. So that will travel some distance, that is a x Vc into x. Here V is the voltage, C is the capacitance, x is the distance traveled by the wave, and q is the charge. It's a clearly q charge, V voltage, C capacitance, x is the distance. The current that flows through the conductor is determined by the rate at which the charge flow into and out of the line as I is equal dq by dt. So what is the current I? Charge per unit time. So the current I is equal dq by dt. So from equation 1, so current I is equal to dVcx by dt. Already we know the charge q value. What is the charge q value? That is nothing but Vcx. So we get charge q value Vcx. So we get dx by dt into Vc. We get the equation 2 is Vc into dx by dt. So what is the distance by time? Already we know that distance by time is nothing but velocity. The distance by time is a velocity of traveling wave. So substitute dx by dt is a v. Equation 2 can be modified as I is equal to Vc into small v, where small v is the velocity, V is the voltage, C is the capacitance. In a similar way, the electromagnetic flux linkages created around the conductor due to a current wave. Flux linkage is equal to I into L into X. So what is the I? I is a current, L is a inductance, X is a distance. We know the voltage is the flux linkage per time. Flux linkage per time. So substitute flux value, we get V is equal to dIL x by dt. Substitute the flux linkage value ILX. So we take dx by dt into IL. Already we know the distance by time is nothing but velocity. We get ILV. So we can remodify it. So current 3 equation 3 is current I is equal to Vc into small v. So equation 6 IL into small v. Already we discussed velocity v is equal to distance by time. Equation 5 can be modified as v is equal to IL into v, small v. Divide equation 6 by equation 3. So v by I, equation 3 already know I is equal to VCV. So v by I is equal to ILV by VCV. V get cancelled. What happens? V square by I square is equal to L by C. V by I is equal to root L by C. What is the V by I is the impedance. So that impedance is nothing but characteristic impedance. The characteristic impedance ZC is equal to root L by C. The characteristic impedance ZC is equal to root L by C. Where ZC is the characteristic impedance or natural impedance value of a transmission line. By multiplying equation 3 and 6. So in before we dividing the equation 3 and 6, now we multiplying the equation 3 and 6, we can obtain the velocity of traveling wave. Definitely we get velocity v is equal 1 by root LC. So velocity v is equal 1 by root LC. Already we know the inductance L value 2 into 10 power minus 7 log d by r already we derived. So the capacitance value 2 pi epsilon naught by log d by r. Substitute all the values. Substitute the permittivity of air is equal 1 by 36 pi into 10 power minus 9. Substitute all the values, L value and C value. We get 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. The velocity v is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Means the velocity of traveling wave is equal to light velocity. The velocity of traveling wave is equal to light velocity. The light velocity is a 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. From the above expression, we can have the following conclusions. The velocity of traveling wave for a lossless line is equal to the speed of light. So you must consider lossless line. Lossless lines means resistance is equal to 0, conductance is equal to 0. Since the cable core is surrounded by insulations and sheath, its relative permittivity ER greater than 1 and hence epsilon naught is equal to E naught, ER greater than E naught permittivity of it. Therefore, the speed of traveling wave on a cable less than that of the transmission line. Normally, relative permittivity ER is equal to 1 in air. In transmission line, ER is equal to 1. But in underground cables, the ER epsilon naught greater than 1. So the velocity becomes 3 into 10 power 8 root of epsilon r. So therefore the speed of traveling wave on a cable is less than that of the transmission line. Here there is a two conclusions. The velocity of a traveling wave is a light velocity in a transmission line. The velocity of traveling wave in a cable less than the in a cable is less than the transmission line, because relative permittivity ER greater than 1 in cables, epsilon r is relative permittivity greater than 1 in a cables.